there, and a happy Wednesday to you. Thank you so much for joining us on Weather Out West. I'm meteorologist Ashley Ruiz. Here's what we're tracking for you today. So the rain has made its return to certain portions of the West Coast, and many of us are already getting sprinkles today, with more to come as we head into the weekend. We'll show you the first alerts and weather impacts that have been issued. Plus, Seattleites saw a lot of fog as they headed out the door this morning. Here's a look earlier this morning from their tower cams in Bellingham, Everett, SeaTac, and Tacoma. You can see very low visibility there. Meteorologist Rich Marriott has more on the Emerald City's forecast coming up. And Tropical Storm Melissa formed yesterday. We'll give you the latest on its path, plus a look at the Pacific. And how an eco-friendly nonprofit in San Diego is preserving the beauty and cleanliness of their streets. And once again, thank you for joining us for Weather Out West. This is an hour-long show where we tell you what's happening weather-wise across the western United States. And today, we're going to kick things off in Seattle, Western Washington, because in true October fashion, you saw very dense fog impacted much of Puget Sound in Western Washington Wednesday morning. Seattle's Rich Marriott is tracking the fog, and he tells us about an incoming atmospheric river that's going to impact the region over the weekend.
Hi, I'm King 5 meteorologist Rich Marriott, and we've been dominated by fog this morning around Puget Sound. Not at Granite Falls. They seem to have escaped that, but we had clear skies overnight. Things cooled enough that we had widespread fog around Puget Sound pretty much from the get-go for that morning commute, which certainly slowed things down a little bit. And if we take a look, well, even at mid-morning, you see there in Everett, not much to see. It's sitting in the fog and low clouds, and well, we switched to Everett. Doesn't really look very much. Tacoma doesn't look much different than what Everett looked like. We are going to be looking for that though to lift as we head towards mid to late morning, and you will see a little bit of sunshine, but we already have the clouds from the approaching weather system starting to spread over the area. Out there along the coast, you can see those clouds have already pushed in there, so they're probably done seeing sunshine for a while, but you could see a couple of sun breaks as we head towards the afternoon, even out there towards the coast. Our first alert 7-day forecast, pretty quiet. We're going to clear off that fog. We'll see a few showers around this afternoon, won't amount to much, and then tomorrow still a slight risk of a shower, but pretty strong weather system starts to move in as we head towards Thursday night into early Friday, and we'll see that rain spread into Puget Sound on Friday. We're going to be looking for first alert weather days for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Basically what we're looking at is heavy rain and gusty winds for both Friday and Saturday. We'll look for those trees which still have all their leaves on them, pretty much all their leaves, and the new growth from summer. With the wind and the rain, we're going to see those come down. Probably some clogged street drains around Puget Sound, and also maybe a couple of branches coming down and hitting some power lines. So we might even see some spotty power outages, kind of like what we saw last Sunday. But at least at this point, we don't think the winds are strong enough to really cause widespread power outages. But you never know with falling branches, for that matter. We changed off and on showers in Puget Sound on Sunday, but mountain snow is going to be developing, and those snow levels are going to be falling. We could see snow accumulating at all the mountain highway passes, which is going to slow things down. People are not really used to driving in snow right now, and I'm sure some people will be caught by surprise Sunday afternoon and evening as they go across the Cascades and suddenly discover that fall is trying to turn into winter. And basically it applies to all of Western Washington and to the mountains. This is that atmospheric river that's aimed at us. You can see it's coming across the Pacific. Long stretch of winds across the Pacific down into the subtropics. That's picking up a lot of moisture as it goes by. In fact, if we look at the Japanese satellite looking from the other side, this is as we looked at the edge on the GOES West shot, below the Aleutians, you can see that same band continues all the way into parts of northern Japan. So it's a long trip across the ocean before it gets here, so a lot of rain in it. Not looking for a major flooding situation. Doesn't look like river flooding at all, but it does look like we'll probably see plenty of rain around and probably see, again, some standing water from clogged drains. Looking at the future cast, you can see as we head into this afternoon, a little weak system moves through. It's going to give us a few showers, but probably still a few sun breaks around. And then tomorrow, not much going on. We'll probably probably see cloudy skies, a little bit of sunshine, and maybe a couple of showers. But then as we head on towards Thursday night, we are going to see the system move in. As you can see, looks like it's going to be a very wet day on Friday. It's going to be accompanied by some gusty winds with wind gusts probably in the 25 to 35 miles per hour range around Puget Sound. It'll be stronger, of course, as usual, north of Everett. That moves on through. We get a little bit of a break late on Friday night into early Saturday before the next system comes up out of that band of moisture, soaks us down on Saturday with some gusty winds with that. That moves on through as a cold front. That's going to be dropping our snow levels, though, down to about 2,500 feet with off and on showers as we head into Sunday. And that means, of course, snow all the way down to I-90 Snoqualmie Pass as we head into Sunday and Sunday evening. And see, then as we head into Monday, we're going to continue to see those showers, though you will decrease during the day on Monday, it looks like, and then we'll see it gradually dry at least briefly as we head into Tuesday before we see some more rain as we head towards the middle part of the week. Looking at those snow levels, then at least today, tomorrow, and Friday, they stay pretty high above the past levels. Saturday, they're going to drop down to about 5,000 feet, so you could see snow at places like Stevens Pass, Chinook Pass up there on North Cascades Highway. But on Sunday and Monday, down to 2,500 feet for snow for all the mountain highway passes, and you see several inches of accumulation. Too early to give you exact amounts at this point, but overall is going to be switched to much more winter conditions than we've been used to. So for today, though, we're going to see that fog lift, just a couple showers, temperatures upper 50s and low to mid 60s. Tomorrow might be a couple showers mixed with sun breaks, and then rain moves in late Thursday night. Rainy and breezy on Friday and Saturday. Showers and sun breaks on Sunday in Puget Sound, but we'll be looking for snow up in the mountains for all the mountain highway passes. Just showers around Monday, but those will be decreasing. Couple showers around Tuesday mixed with sun, and then rain moves in late. Highs starting off next week, dropping back to the low to mid 50s.
And it's been a pretty foggy and murky morning, October morning in Oregon as well. Portland's Rod Hill is tracking showers today, plus how that atmospheric river will impact Oregon over the weekend.
From Portland, I'm Rod Hill. Oh, we're getting close to our big two-day rain event coming up this Friday and Saturday. Gusty winds, heavy rain shots, eventually snow over the Cascade Passes. I'm going to get into all of that. I do want to give you a brief setup to today if you're going to be in the Portland or Salem or Vancouver area. This first batch of clouds is the tail end really of a weakening front that breaks up as it pushes inland, certainly over our areas. So it's like we may get a trace of rain this afternoon, or we may not. No matter how you slice it, we're at least mainly dry down here with partly to mostly cloudy skies. These clouds coming in tomorrow, I think there's at least a rain chance, but the weather models say we stay dry, so we'll see. These are the clouds ahead of that main rain event that's going to be rolling in on Friday and Saturday. So we have the KGW Weather Impact Alert up for Friday and Saturday, which basically means if you have plans to be outdoors on Friday and Saturday, you're going to need to dress for the weather, and you're going to be battling the elements to some degree in terms of winds picking up and becoming noticeably gusty at times, occasional heavy shots of rain coming and going through both days, Friday and Saturday. So you'll be in your rain gear. We still are projecting a wet Sunday, but Sunday the winds are back to calm. The rain rates have tapered off. It's more of just a typical showery day. The weather models have been really consistent, and they're still saying that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and most of these numbers are just Friday, Saturday when most of the rain happens. Still looking at 2 to maybe over 3 inches at the coast. Still looking at growing confidence of over an inch of rain in the Willamette Valley, and maybe we get up to about 1.5 inches and some decent rain amounts really, as you can see here, across all of Oregon. So what about snow? So the latest is, talking up in the mountains, raining at Timberline Lodge, 6,000 feet on Friday. Snow levels could drop close to past level on Saturday, but I feel like the actual ground temperatures will hold above freezing, so mainly just wet travel. So now we're focused on Saturday night into Sunday with the snow level going down to about 3,000 feet and producing a good likelihood, I think, of waking up to the first snowy morning for Cascade travel Sunday morning. This shows Government Camp, for example, could get upwards of about 5 inches. Government Camp is the main pass, Highway 26 over Mount Hood. Winds, nothing alarming, but noticeable. If you watch the tick, 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 you saw some 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts down in Lincoln City and Newport. This shows 20 to 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This is Friday going into the afternoon. And we'll see similar situations going into Saturday. There's two fronts. One comes in Friday about noon. and the second one comes in mid-afternoon Saturday. So the timing of those fronts would be the best bet to maybe get 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts at our coast. This just shows you today and tomorrow what I was talking about. Here's the first wave of rain coming in. This shows first thing Friday morning. Other models hold this off a little bit, but certainly by late morning, we think it is absolutely raining in the Rose City. Now back to today, mainly dry with a shower threat on the west side, partly to mostly sunny out east. You can see the highs in the 60s, and here's Portland 7-day. 63, 64, the KGW impact alert for the 2-day rain event, or storm if you will, Friday and Saturday. And then still likely showers on Sunday, but a much, much calmer day expected.
Now let's take you to the tropics, specifically the Caribbean Sea, where Tropical Storm Melissa formed just yesterday. Let's talk about it, and this is the latest track from the National Hurricane Center. Unfortunately, it is nearly stationary over the eastern Caribbean. That's as of Wednesday morning. It is forecast to become a hurricane. Right now it's a tropical storm with winds of 50 miles per hour, but the National Hurricane Center out of Miami says there are significant uncertainties with this storm, including how strong it will be and where it's going to go. But either way, it is expected to bring very heavy rain to the Caribbean islands. You see how large that cone of uncertainty is. It almost looks like a blob. Now, what this cone means is where the center of this storm could track. It could be all the way to the southern coast of Cuba, covering Jamaica, or it could be even farther south. So there are a lot of uncertainties with this system. Now, let's take you to the eastern Pacific. No active storms, but there's a high chance that this disturbance that you see right on the screen, it has the chance of becoming at least a tropical depression over the weekend. The next named storm on the list is Sonia. Well, coming up, a new study finds kids are spending less time outside. The surprising reason that's keeping them indoors instead of exploring their neighborhoods. Welcome back. Before we get to our next stations on the list, we wanted to talk a little bit about this because a new poll suggests fewer children are getting out in the fresh air, but it's their parents keeping them indoors. Just 1 in 10 preschoolers or toddlers play outside once a week or less. That's according to the University of Michigan C.S. Mott Children's Hospital. And they say that anxiety from parents is one of the main reasons. 4 in 10 parents say they worry when kids roam too far or take risks like climbing, but that may backfire as outdoor play boosts mental and physical health, even things like eyesight. And while fewer kids may be going outside, those in Boise may want to soak up the sunshine before the wet weather rolls in. Hector Mendoza has more on the rain they are tracking that has triggered first alert weather days for the weekend.
Well, it was a beautiful day yesterday here in the City of Trees. Boise saw lots of warmer temperatures here as we got on through the rest of our Tuesday. Clear conditions, and just look at this photo posted on our Idaho Weather Watchers Facebook page. Bridget Anderson posted this as we see lots of fall colors. So you see reds, yellows, a little bit of orange, some green still mixed in some of these leaves. But again, the fall colors are definitely here to stay as we're going to start to see them. The foliage colors, they start to peak in just a little bit. But temperatures were also pretty comfortable here as these temperatures from yesterday fade up. The low 60s across the Treasure Valley. We got into the upper 50s for Jerome and Twin Falls and stayed into the 50s for portions of the mountains. Now temperatures are going to stay into the low 60s here for today, but it's going to climb up just a little bit more as that's what we're going to be seeing here the next couple of days as we'll see temperatures warming up due to this ridge of high pressure. This is what's continuing to dominate. We saw that yesterday. We continue to see it today, and this will last all the way through Friday. Now we're going to start to see some changes as we get closer in through late Friday and through early Saturday as we are going to see lots of rain make its way through, a potential for some snow here for Sunday, and that extends into early Monday morning. But here is that system that we're going to be paying attention to as it comes from the Gulf of Alaska, makes its way on down. Now this system is going to tap into an atmospheric river that we are expecting to bring in a lot more moisture in, and that's where we're expecting a lot more of those impacts along with some cooler temperatures, and we're also going to see some breezier conditions coming along. So again, that is why we have first alert weather conditions here for Saturday and Sunday Sunday. So we see that system tapping into a big plume of moisture that's going to make its way on in. We are expecting valley rain and a possibility of some heavy mountain snow that comes along here as we look at some of the higher elevations. And again, as I mentioned, that cold front is going to bring in some cooler temperatures, and those winds will become a little bit breezier there for Saturday and Sunday afternoon. So this is the future cast we're going to be seeing. Other than some clouds that we're going to see later on through today and possibly through tomorrow, not much is really happening here into the next couple of days as we're getting closer to the wrap up of the work week. And it's not until later on in through Friday that we'll start to notice some changes across the Pacific Northwest as we can see some of those showers making their way on through as we get through Friday. And then it initiates there in southeast Oregon as we get through Saturday morning, and then makes its trek into southwest Idaho as we continue on in through Saturday afternoon and the rest of the evening. And then we're going to see a little bit more of those cooler temperatures coming along for Sunday. That is why we again have first alert weather conditions here for the weekend, not just for the Treasure Valley, but we see that for the mountains as well, as we're going to see some of the snow levels drop from around 7,000 to 8,000 feet here as we get towards Saturday, and then it drops closer down to around 4,000 feet in through Sunday. And some of the higher peaks are going to see some heavy precipitation and could see a significant amount of some snow that falls. So again, it'll be the first big amount that we see for this season here Sunday into Monday. And again, not just in the Treasure Valley and into the mountains that we'll see those first alert weather conditions. The Magic Valley is also included. So this includes areas like Twin Falls. Again, the biggest thing is going to be the cool down that we see from Friday into Sunday, the showers and some of the winds that'll start to pick up there through areas of the Magic Valley. And that's going to be pretty similar here in our 7-day forecast as we look on into Boise. Temperatures near 70 there for Friday. And then we see those impacts coming along there for Saturday and Sunday with cooler temperatures that continue in through Monday, and some of those morning temperatures possibly down to freezing as we head into Tuesday.
Very sunny and warm weather in eastern Washington today, but once again, that all changes over the weekend. Here's Spokane's Thomas Patrick with everything you need to know.
I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick in Spokane, Washington. Another beautiful day on tap. More sunshine, more late October warmth. What more can you ask for? Funny enough, in the sunshine, it's going to feel even warmer than the forecasted temperatures, because that's all calculated in the shade, mind you. So it's even better than it even looks. Sunny again today, plenty warm for the afternoons, as long as it's dry, and it's not going to stay that way through the weekend. In fact, big changes on the way for the weekend ahead. Before we get to that stage of the forecast, we'll start with today, where we had one trouble spot, and it was in Coeur d'Alene. Everyone looked like this at about 7 a.m., a few minutes before sunrise, and it was stunning. And then I peeked at the Coeur d'Alene camera and I was like, what the heck is this? Fog right over the city. Well, technically only over downtown. Looks like the fog came basically straight out of the lake. And Lake Coeur d'Alene extends from downtown and then it goes southward from there. So anywhere that was near the lake itself actually did experience a bit of fog, but it was super contained and isolated. It's not going to be a problem this afternoon either. The sunshine will wash and mix out all of that moisture away, giving us just an exceptional day. 62 degrees in the shade. Feeling even better in the direct sunlight. Absolutely beautiful. You see 60s everywhere throughout the inland Northwest. This is 8 degrees above average. So not a ton, but that makes a big difference between 55 or 54 up to the low 60s. So that feels great. The records are still in the 70s this time of year, so we're not quite anywhere near that. Again, though, 60s feels awesome for our region. And we won't have anything disturbing us, at least for a couple days, in the inland Northwest, eastern Washington, and North Idaho. Rain chances will begin Friday evening. This is how it looks for the next 5 days. Obviously 0 today, 0% tomorrow. 70% by Friday evening. Honestly, as we get close to that, we're going to get rainfall with the initial cold front that passes through. It's just a matter of, does it arrive before or after midnight? By Saturday, definitely going to rain. Looks like that now stands out as the rainier of the 2 days, with just some variety of light and scattered showers likely all weekend long. This is what it will look like from a big picture perspective. Basically, the whole trough has to swing in. Here's your cold front. That hits Spokane again Friday evening. When that occurs, that just opens the door for all of the storms and all of the rain in behind it. Basically, the moisture is just pointed straight at the Pacific Northwest. It looks very messy. and it is messy to forecast for. So general statements tend to work a bit better here. Rainy, cold weekend. Yeah, we understand that for sure. It's the more specific moments of when we get the heaviest rain. Those details not quite as clear. But in total, should get about 1/2 inch of rain across eastern Washington versus 1.5 inches on the west side. That's the comparison factor. And you obviously know that Seattle's going to get more rain than Spokane on most any given occasion. No difference here. Scattered showers and colder weather for sure this weekend.
And coming up after the break, how a nonprofit in Southern California is keeping San Diego Street clean to protect our beaches. Welcome back to Weather Out West. So let's pick things back up because preserving the beauty and cleanliness of San Diego County is top of mind for one eco-friendly nonprofit. Their volunteers focus on keeping community streets clean so trash doesn't make it to the beaches. San Diego's chief meteorologist Carlene Chavez hit the pavement with the street stewards to see how they are turning San Diego green in real time.
A local nonprofit is looking to turn San Diego green one cleanup at a time. The street stewards are out in the streets cleaning up after San Diegans, making our county look good. Are you ready to adopt the block?
So we're going to head a little bit north and a little bit south.
Aye, aye, Captain. Mark O'Connor serves as a captain for Old Downtown Encinitas, along with John Wick, who serves as the lead captain overseeing all of Encinitas.
That's where the street sweepers can't get.
With the help of volunteers, these street stewards team up every second Saturday of the month.
January was our first cleanup here, and we are at, I think, 500 pounds of trash. So we averaged anywhere from like 50 to last one was 90 pounds.
They've even had as many as 200 people at a cleanup, but the average head count is around 10. They focus on picking up trash in the streets and alleys before it makes its way to our coastline. This nonprofit even has the mayor of Encinitas' attention.
Well, Encinitas is very environmentally sensitive, but the reason is this volunteer-based group is going around cleaning up our streets. And I mean, both sides, everybody likes that.
Sporting lime green shirts and orange trash pickers, volunteers of all ages are making a difference here.
It's really our generation that can make a difference, and we're the ones left at the planet. So I think it's just really important to help out where we can and just get involved early on.
In Escondido, you'll also see street stewards carefully picking up trash along the roads. This trio calls themselves the Three Trashy Ladies, who started volunteering in 2021.
Small group pickups through Facebook and Nextdoor. And then I discovered street stewards, and I go, this is what we need in Escondido.
Escondido resident Scott Horst is now an executive director for street stewards and wants the entire county to be sporting green.
We're looking for captains in every community across San Diego County.
Captains promote street stewards in their community by getting their neighbors and local businesses involved with monthly group cleanups and promote the program on social media.
We have Escondido, we have downtown San Diego, we have Ocean Beach, we have Encinitas, but I need them in every other community.
You can also adopt your block like the founder and executive director of Street Stewards, Aaron Knoll, who wasn't happy seeing trash on the streets of his Ocean Beach community.
There we go.
These are recent pickups for fellow street stewards. You can see details about them, and they may even post pictures. And this is where you would record your own pickup. You can record the date, the name, how many bags, how many pounds, and then you can set this as your home adoption so it's very easy to repeat this.
Combining his love to keep OB clean and graphic design skills, Aaron's One Green Line has expanded to more green lines on their live interactive map tailored to San Diego County. You can add to the stats by adopting your own block on their website at streetstewards.com. So far, there have been 900 pickups spanning 600 miles and counting. Take it from a captain. Each action adds up.
17 pounds.
It's like saving $1. Saving $1 is not that difficult, but you do that consistently and it adds up. So kind of same principle.
The greener, the better.
Another cigarette, but...
For CBS 8, I'm Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavez.
And coming up after the break, we're going to head back to the Golden State to hear from Monica Woods and Vanessa Paz. Plus, weather officials already have a hint on what the winter forecast may look like. We'll show you that too. Thank you so much for sticking with us on Weather Out West on this Wednesday. We have more forecasts and stories for you on this back half hour. But before we go to Sacramento, take a look at this. It was a beautiful sunny day in Santa Cruz yesterday, and surfers are out catching waves, minding their business, when suddenly an otter, see that there? An otter appears hopping on a surfer's surfboard. You can see the interaction on the video and then the photo. It was shared by a Santa Cruz local, and last week a similar situation occurred, prompting those signs to be put up at Steamer Lane to alert surfers of an aggressive sea otter and to enter at your own risk. But people seem to be supportive of the otter catching some waves. Of course, that's their habitat too, but
they're in their territory, the otters, so they have every right to be there.
I think that the otter should be catching waves here. That's so cool.
An otter on a board, like, that is just too cool.
Well, hopefully no one gets too close, the little guys. Okay, now let's head up to Northern California, where Sacramento's Monica Woods is tracking shower and storm chances today, plus how that atmospheric river that we've been talking about will impact Northern and Central California.
I'm meteorologist Monica Woods, and we're continuing to track what will be an unsettled weather pattern over the weekend. More on the timing, totals, duration as we move deeper into the work week. In the meantime, mostly cloudy skies for the coast and partly cloudy skies for the valley in the short-term forecast. Some evening showers potentially for the foothills and for the Sierra. This is going to be a weak weather system moving in from Southern California. That will be pressing in towards Central California to about that I-80 line. That's going to be about it. Quick mover, just kind of sets the stage for more unsettled weather heading our way with a bigger atmospheric river. But again, the timing and totals still kind of playing out with each model run. It's gearing up in the Pacific as we head towards the middle and end of the work week. Here it is, that big plume of moisture, that atmospheric river moving in initially overnight Friday and through Saturday. Now there's another pulse right behind it, which gives some reinforcement to the potential of some rain coming in. Again, that atmospheric river pulling in from the Pacific. Quite dynamic, especially for this time of year, can produce big rain and snowfall totals. But as you'll see with the model-to-model comparison with the European and the GFS, things look very different. Most of this is going to hug the northern part of the state with the potential of that sweeping down below the I-80 line. So a much different trajectory than the Wednesday storm system moving in, coming from Southern California. This one coming in more of a classic situation from the north, impacting much of Northwest California. So again, the weather changes where we have moderate to high confidence, cooler than average temperatures, and some showers where we have the lower confidence just because of the uncertainty with the models, rain and snow totals, as well as timing and duration. We'll be tracking it all as we dig deeper into the work week. So here's a look at the precipitation forecast, and you can see overall we're expecting much more rain along the northwest coast than, say, through Central California. Only about a trace to a quarter of an inch total over the next 7 days. For the foothills, pretty decent amount, about 1.5 to 2 inches forecasted right now. And we'll continue to see how those totals shift by the time we get to that weekend forecast. We're still into our Wednesday outlook, though, with drying conditions on the post rain and cloudiness that's moving through. Unfortunately, it's going to dampen some of the viewing for that Orionid meteor shower. Better viewing overnight Wednesday through Thursday. Highs near 60 for the Tahoe Basin, 60s and low 70s for the foothills, so quite a bit cooler than where we started off this week. We're in the 50s for the Central Sierra, 60s and 70s for much of the northern much of the central San Joaquin Valley, where we'll have more clouds and a slight chance of those showers coming through. Central Coast, we're in the 60s up and down the Central Coast with 70s inland. The Bay Area forecast calling for clouds. Slight chance of a sprinkle passing through, especially for the South Bay. Highs will be in the 60s with 70s for inland areas. As far as the Northwest Coast, it's a dry Wednesday. A few more clouds. Cool. Highs in the 50s and 60s along the Northwest Coast with 70s for the north end of the valley as we travel towards the capital region. Slight chance of a passing shower quickly into our very early Wednesday forecast. Otherwise, clearing skies. Highs on the cooler side, though. We're only going to be around 70 to 72 degrees. That's about a 10-degree drop in our temperatures. So as we head towards the weekend, it's a cooler outlook Saturday and Sunday for the mountains. We'll have that chance of showers both Saturday and Sunday, with more on the snow side of things on Sunday as that colder air starts to work in. And our extended forecast continuing to show the unsettled weather Saturday and Sunday. Drier weather ahead next week.
And impacts from the storm system, they're going to stay north of Southern California, but some changes arrive over the weekend. San Diego's Vanessa Paz tells us about it in today's forecast.
Well, happy Wednesday from San Diego, California. I'm CBS 8 meteorologist Vanessa Paz. Shout out to Joel Ortiz, who sent in this stunning image of yesterday's skyline from Coronado Island facing downtown San Diego. We had a mix of sun and clouds, but regardless, it was a gorgeous day. We felt a little cooler, especially in comparison to the day prior. And yesterday was sort of our transition day into cooler weather that we're expecting to take over for most of the region as we enter our Wednesday. All right, taking a look at headlines. Today we'll continue to have some scattered clouds. It will be cool and windy, especially for the county's eastern half. And then Thursday, we're looking at much calmer conditions. So the winds will die down a bit, and we're also looking at more sunshine to go around. Friday will be in between systems. And when this happens, we are going to warm up a bit, especially for the inland valleys. And then temperatures will sink back down just in time for the weekend. So here's what we're expecting in terms of daytime highs. Will be closer to average for the coast and inland valleys. I'm forecasting mostly mid to low 70s from Fallbrook all the way down to La Mesa, so those neighborhoods that hug the 15 and 805 freeways. Meanwhile, for the coastal and beach neighborhoods, Oceanside and downtown San Diego, per usual, will be some of the warmest spots along the coastal areas. We'll top out in the high 60s from Carlsbad all the way down to about Del Mar, La Jolla, 69 later on today for Chula Vista, 62 out in Julian, and we'll get close to 70 degrees for Alpine as well as Campo. Meanwhile, 83 for a high out in Borrego Springs. All right, taking a look at what's happening aloft and the reason why we're changing our conditions and kind of switching gears here. We have this area of low pressure. This will filter in cooler temps all the way through Thursday, and it's also going to increase onshore flow. So it's going to enhance those winds. Again, we're looking at the strongest winds to target the mountains and desert areas, and the winds will so strong that a wind advisory is set to take place, or it's impacting the county's eastern half. So here's the forecast radar. Again, if you take a look at the key here, this is where we could see some green on the maps, and that indicates maybe a light shower or two tonight into tomorrow morning. But we are looking at clearer conditions for Thursday afternoon, so widespread sunshine to go around. And we're pretty much out of there when it comes to that marine layer, especially the closer we get to Friday. All right, wind gusts, let's go ahead and take a look at that. So notice the color contour, top right of your screen. We pay attention to those red and maroon colors, and that's where we could have some of the strongest winds. So isolated gusts could exceed anywhere between 30 to 40 miles per hour. There is a wind advisory that the National Weather Service issued, and it's just so people are aware as they travel through the canyons, passes, especially in high-profile vehicles like semis or RVs. Low 70s along the coast and mountain areas for your Thursday afternoon. Will be close to 80 degrees for the inland valleys, so tomorrow's looking a little warmer than today. Meanwhile, the desert areas will produce highs in the mid to upper 80s. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at your coastal 7-day forecast and roll that out really quick. We are looking at again, today to be the coolest day of the next 7, and then temperatures are going to rise a little bit on Friday before dropping down this weekend. As we take a look at the inland 7-day forecast, the warmth peaks again on Friday. As I mentioned, this is when we're in between two systems, and then they'll come crashing down this weekend. So looking ahead to the weekend, it's going to be fairly nice. Lots of 70s to go around, especially for interior parts of the county. We'll cool down a little bit Sunday for the mountain areas as well as the deserts by the time we get to the latter part of the weekend.
And when we come back, we'll have your forecast from Denver and Phoenix. Apart from a couple of sprinkles, the weather is on cruise control in Arizona. Phoenix's Ginger Jeffries tells us how long it's going to last.
I'm meteorologist Ginger Jeffries with a look at your weather out west, where, yeah, we may see some sprinkles today. After that moves through, though, we are going to be warming up to temperatures that are a little above the normal range. Don't you love it? Desert weather at its finest. I mean, look at this. We've got some rain primarily to the south and in the east, so through the White Mountains. But also, we've got a couple showers popping up right around Bullhead City, Lake Havasu, and Kingman. Now, this mini rain event really should just be this this morning, and then we're going to clear out after about 11 o'clock. And when we do clear out, well, since we are a desert, enough sunshine is going to get those numbers up to above normal status. So I'm calling for 91 today in Phoenix, about 76 in Sedona, 65 in Flagstaff, and 70 today at the Grand Canyon. So as you can see, our radar picture is showing, just some spotty showers overnight. So far, we haven't accumulated any rainfall at Sky Harbor, but some of our valley cities have seen about a fourth of an inch of rain. Now, as we can see, 4/100ths of an inch of rain. Let me clarify. So let me put this in motion. We have this area of low pressure. This is going to push on through. And as you saw, just by about 11 o'clock, we're going to see clearing get underway, courtesy of, what's on your screen right here. This is wind. These vectors indicate that wind is going to start pushing moisture out, allowing the skies to clear out. And we are going to bump those numbers. But then we've got this next system in the Pacific Northwest. And while I don't think it's going to be a rainmaker for us, it is going to bring in some cooler air. So temperatures are going to come down. So expected rainfall today, you can see very minimal at best, under 1/10 of an inch. And then again, that's at best. Doesn't really look like anything's going to fall for the Phoenix metro area. So where are we going to see some rain? 40% of the region in the White Mountains should see rain. Then we're going to start drying out. High country down to about 20% chance. And then for us here in the metro, about 10%. So, clearly don't cancel your tea times. Instead, just look for a little bit of moisture and some cloud cover in the morning, clearing out nicely and then setting the stage for brilliant sunny skies. So you're still going to need your sunscreen today, even though I've got a little bit of rain in the morning. Notice what happens though. Here's the wind impact that I was talking about. After about the noon hour, doesn't look like much for the valley, but for the higher elevations, we'll get those winds up to about 10, 15 miles an hour and get rid of the cloud cover, which will allow our numbers to do this. I've got 91 today in Buckeye, about 89 in Scottsdale, 90 in Mesa, 91 in Phoenix, and 90 in Chandler. So clouds, then sun, calm wind, looking for about 10-mile-an-hour winds a little bit later tonight. And then with clear skies, temperatures are going to be dropping down nicely. I've got upper 50s tonight in Fountain Hills, about 60 in Chandler, 62 in Glendale, and 56 in Buckeye. As we look ahead, 7-day forecast shows we're already starting to see some great snow-making conditions in the higher elevations. They got that underway earlier this week. And Flagstaff, you are going to be bouncing around in the low to mid 60s, so pretty status quo. Meantime, here in the valley, our temperatures are going to be dropping. Here's that area of low pressure I mentioned, from 91 today to 84 tomorrow. And then we are going to cruise in the near normal status, which is the mid to upper 80s through the weekend with overnights. This isn't bad, right? Low 60s with pretty clear skies. Look for a few clouds by Sunday.
And coming up after the break, we'll have much more for you as we wrap up on this Wednesday. Can you believe it that winter, only a couple of weeks away, still over a month and a half away, and despite us dealing with rain and enjoying the fall foliage, it is right around the corner. And some people might need their extra warm coats and blankets come December. AccuWeather officials say this season they're expecting intense winter storms for various areas, including the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and the Northeast. And some cities, including Boston and Philadelphia, are forecast to see more snow than usual. It's the opposite for the Southeast and Gulf Coast, where temperatures could hit record level highs with little rain providing relief. And while the winter season officially starts on December 21st, the meteorological winter season begins on December 1st. And of course, we'll keep you updated on the West Coast winter forecast as it comes available. And it's not just students and staff sharing a campus, it's birds too. But while these feathered visitors add beauty and biodiversity to university landscapes, they also face a hidden danger that's claiming their lives across the U.S. Now, one student-led group at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, is taking action to prevent them from dying on their campus.
It's not just pigeons strutting the landscape. This university is also a resting ground for migratory birds.
There's a huge corridor for migration.
So at 8 a.m., this walk hosted by the Birding and Conservation Club was well attended.
I'm not quite at the level where I can recognize bird calls yet.
For Aaron Smith, a junior at UNLV, the club keeps him connected to his roots.
One of the best things about growing up here is that we have amazing nature and amazing wildlife, and it's kind of hard to imagine Nevada with none of that.
It's not an empty fear, as bird populations are in decline across the country, and one reason might surprise you. Research shows every year more than 1 billion birds die from hitting windows in the U.S. alone.
Yeah, we saw a couple collisions, and it's a little distressing, you know, because the birds, some of them will just come in full force.
Aaron showed me one window where this sad reality plays out.
So what we have here is we have 2 fatalities, 2 birds that most likely impacted this glass when they were taking off from this tree and see in the reflection what they think is another stand of trees in the distance.
But instead of standing by, the club took action and brought a game plan to school groundskeepers.
Yeah, just everything went smoothly the way they handled it.
With a donation from wildlife organization Red Rock Audubon and labor from UNLV staff, several vinyl screens like this one were installed.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to actually get to interact with the students, help them out with stuff that is important to them. So yeah, it means a lot to us.
But how does it work?
A series of little dots on the glass that are evenly spaced just enough that the bird notices something with the depth perception is wrong. It interrupts the illusion.
The project cementing a partnership between students and staff that they hope to continue into the future.
The groundskeepers and facilities, they definitely do a lot of work to make it a friendly place for wildlife. And we'd like to kind of supplement that by also making it a safe place for wildlife.
This simple fix is making campus safer for migratory birds, and it's a solution that could be used just about anywhere.
And we well know that bird migration is a big thing across the nation. Billions of birds were migrating from north to south ahead of winter. And yes, billions. I know it's hard to wrap your mind around it, but this fall, we had very, very active bird migrations. And when it comes to them crashing into windows and so on and so forth, that's during the day. But at night, that also happens. And so there was a Lights Out initiative, and it's to promote turning off unnecessary lights at night to help the birds migrate. And so the peak was really in September and early October. And so the bird migration is starting to wind down for the season, and then we'll pick up in the spring once again. And so even then, I'm looking at the Birdcast right now, which is a real thing. You can find it online. It's birdcast.info. And what I'm seeing for the live bird migration, 34.7 million birds in flight. That's an estimate, and it's really cool because the scientists use radar, what we use to track rain. And so right now the southeast looks pretty active. It's starting to wind down for the west coast, but it was very active in September and October. Now, with all of that being said, you want Denver's forecast. I had to go on a little tangent about birds in case you were wondering. So now let's go to Denver before we wrap things up, because a weak storm system is set to bring rain to Denver and snow up to the mountains. That's going to be tomorrow night, but a stronger system may impact the region on Monday. Denver's Kathy Sabin and Katie LaSalle break it all down for us in their forecasts.
Hello from Denver, Colorado. I'm 9 News Weather Impact Team Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin. After a windy start to the week, and I'm talking 70 and 80 mile per hour winds, we had a beautiful day yesterday and we've got a beautiful day today. And we can thank high pressure. This ridge pushing the storm track to the north, separating 2 troughs. The storm that brought the wind now headed for Boston. The next system moving on shore in the Pacific Northwest. And so with fair skies and light winds, not as cold this morning, temperatures in the mid 30s instead of the mid 20s. This is the Monday storm that brought light mountain snow and all of the terrible wind, and now it is headed through Minneapolis, Chicago, and the Northeast, where travel impacts will be extensive because of the wind, rain, and snow potential. So the next thing we're going to be watching is a system to the south. It's fairly weak, it's fairly warm, and is fairly moisture starved. But even as it becomes cut off from the main flow, it will generate some showers in the form of snow for the mountains and maybe a few rain showers to Denver on Thursday. Not a big, super impressive storm, and there are no advisories for snow or for travel as of yet. And so looking at the moisture forecast, it's going to take 24 hours to get that push of moisture up from the southwest, and it'll be mainly in the form of rain for lower elevations, where it is rain, wind, and snow that will impact travel from Washington, New York into Boston. So we have a mostly sunny start statewide. High clouds increase during the afternoon, only isolated showers heading into the evening. A beautiful day today. The changes really come in late tonight into Thursday. So temperatures in the 30s this morning, upper 60s by the afternoon. The 7-day forecast shows a calm day today, a mild day tomorrow with a 20% chance of rain, a nice Friday, a warmer Saturday, and then the Broncos play on Sunday at 2:25 against the Cowboys. Kickoff temperature in the mid-60s, and some of the models suggesting we could see some rain and snow showers along with a cooler weather trend on Monday and Tuesday, so we've issued a potential weather impact.
I'm 9 News Weather Impact Team's Katie LaSalle. On this Wednesday, October 22nd, I wanted to talk temperatures and an unseasonably warmer than average weather pattern. Usually this time of the year, we see overnight lows around 34 degrees. Yesterday, we did experience Denver International Airport's first hard freeze. Temperatures dropped well below freezing. We were in the high 20s, 27 officially. But most of the Denver area has not seen a hard freeze or really any freezing temperatures just yet. Typically, our average low is 34 degrees for October 22nd. The record, that was 8, set back in 1873. But this morning, we started off in the high 30s, and daytime highs will near 70 degrees later on this afternoon. In Colorado's high country, usually this time of the year, we're talking 40s. Today, it's 50s, low 60s even, from Frisco to Steamboat Springs. So a warmer than average weather pattern through the rest of the week ahead of some colder air, it looks like, arriving early next. Our average high for the state is 63. The record was 84. Today we're expecting 69 to right around 70. It's all due to a weak ridge of high pressure rolling in. Our next storm system will roll in from the south. It'll bring us scattered showers, mainly rain in the mountains, but a rain-snow mix down at the valley level and some snow accumulating higher up, especially as we get into early Friday. You can still see, though, our forecasted highs tomorrow. Low 50s near Winter Park, upper 50s from Frisco down through Gunnison and Lake City, high 60s in Denver. But I wanted to look ahead now at our 6 to 10 day weather outlook. Here across the region, we are expecting to see a colder weather pattern. Our 7-day forecast showing that disturbance for tomorrow, chance for a few rain showers here across the metro area by evening. Lows will fall to the low 40s, clearing skies gradually for Friday, closer to average temperatures. This weekend, a nice little warm up Saturday into Sunday, but Monday, a potential impact day, 55 the expected high. And as we look ahead at this storm system, still a little bit of a ways out, but we want to let you know that we could be seeing several inches of mountain snow accumulate, very strong winds across the state, and potentially our first flakes here in Denver. The average, as we know, is October 18th of seeing our first average snowfall in Denver. We are now past that.
That does it for us here on Weather Out West on this Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Ashley Ruiz. Thank you so much for being with us today. We hope to see you right back here tomorrow.